Hey folks, how's it
Hello,
going?
everybody. So,
Pro Prep here, coming at you.
Andrew, Steph in the house with another Pro Prep episode. And
Matching tops as well.
We didn't actually plan this, by the way.
It just happened to be like this.
Yeah, like...
Team Pro Prep.
His one's at least got like some stuff on it.
Some branding on it, I'm
kind of
exclusive, babe.
all grey. We're grey. We're grey
We're
today.
grey, we're grey. We're in the Granite City and we're grey.
Yeah, we're in the Granite City. And for anyone who doesn't know the Granite City, that is...
Aberdeen. Silver City, it sparkles.
Go check out why it's called Granite City.
Go check out our gym that we train in Granite City, actually.
Yeah.
The Results Gym.
We'll big it up. Results Gym in Aberdeen.
Lewis and Stacey done a
South
great job.
College Street.
Yep, really good. Lots of new kit in there. Lots of heavy lifting. Lots of new calibrated plates and Olympic bars and all new primal kit. Really good. So
you'll find a lot of strong men, powerlifters, bodybuilders, general all-around big beastie Highlandy kind of people in there, and it's good. Everyone's raw training ideology in there, so it's good.
So, what are we talking about today, Steph?
Okay, so we're talking about something that's we're quite passionate about.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it's probably a good thing to talk about with the up-and-coming bodybuilding contests around the corner. So the British finals, and or just any competition for anything in general, but in life. I think that's a good point.
This is what we're passionate about, and it is. Let's just kind of title this: being and staying humble.
Staying humble
through all areas of your life. And what does humble mean? And what does ego mean?
Yeah.
Also,
sure.
So this episode is a little bit about what does being a sportsman or sportswoman really look like?
Yep. What
we hold as a really important quality that I think, most of us should have, if not should be aware of, and that is being yourself, being true to yourself, and being humble.
Yep.
And also being aware of the ego and what the ego can play in many different circumstances or situations, and how that can be positive but also negative.
Yeah, exactly. So all good things. I had a thing there when you said, what does ego mean or staying humble mean? I just thought to myself, well, I'll tell you what it means very briefly and crassly. It means not being a dick.
Yeah, that's kind of high up on maybe one of the points we're going to make throughout this video.
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't be a dick.
Just don't be a dick.
Just try not to be. That'd be good.
Now, the reason this issue comes up, right, and particularly in the sporting context here, is I see it a lot, and I've seen it so many times down the year, as people's ego getting the better of themselves, and really this notion of hubris, setting yourself up for a fall and really putting pressure on yourself, whereby you let your ego run away with yourself. You maybe think you're better than you actually are in terms of just as a general person, and nobody's better than anyone else, are they really?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the general theme here as well, is like, who's to say one person is better than another? Yeah. And what gives one person the right to think that they're better than another?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, and particularly in a bodybuilding context, because it's a subjective sport, I mean, like, what we're sort of seeing is it's a panel of judges that judge something on one particular day, and a different panel might have it the other way. Now, there is a criteria, and more often than not, the right thing comes out, but it was still potentially a subjective decision. Now, when we break it down, I think it is, it's quite unfortunate as well, because we see this quite a lot, as people who set themselves up for the fall, they put pressure on themselves, they tell everyone that they're going to go and win the contest, or be the top
like
dog.
My time coming.
Yeah, time coming, like, this is me time. And,
it's like...
And then they don't win, and then, like, you get this sort of weird, sort of funny thing, and there's a great German word for this, and it's Schadenfreude. And it's whereby people seem to take pleasure in someone else's misfortune. It's like, well, it kind of served you right. You disrespected every single other person in that lineup, and you kind of got your comeuppance. And it's kind of it's an unsavoury thing, isn't it? It always sort of leaves a bit of a bad taste in your mouth. I always sort of think that, because you always want to see people succeed, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, there's like a fine line between ego in terms of being able to sort of say like what you're capable of.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then putting that out there quite brashly, that it comes across in kind of a way that's disrespectful. Yeah. And then of course you as an individual, depending on how you're kind of putting forward that information to yourself or to other people, you're putting a high expectation on yourself.
Yeah, you're putting
very
pressure
high,
on yourself, really.
Putting a lot of pressure on yourself, but you're also then, you know, you've got to be pretty sure of yourself that you're going to come in condition, you're going to smash it out the park, you know, and that you're going to be able to retain that kind of ego post the show as well. And that's where I think what you were just explaining there, like you can fall off the bandwagon. Say you turn up to a show and actually you haven't quite hit the condition, and then you come away and you're kind of like chasing your tail a bit in your posts, or you know, sometimes you see that kind of behavior, and it can, like you say, it can be a bit.
You see it all the time. I mean, you'll get someone that will be talking the talk of the town, and I mean, talk is cheap, and then they'll get towards the show and they'll realise that they've said all these sort of things. And then they end up pulling out of the show because they've realised they don't want to embarrass themselves because they've already built themselves up in a certain way. But if they'd just gone in and said, right, I'm going to try my best, I'm going for this prep that's going to be difficult at particular times, and not made such a big fuss and palaver, then the position that they turn up in on stage and they do the contest, they've not had that pressure on themselves throughout. They do the contest, they might get a result that they're happy with, and they've achieved something at the end of it, and nobody's going to hold their feet to the fire and say, oh my God, you said you were going to look like this or look like that, but you've let everyone down, and you've let yourself down. So big thing there. Don't put pressure on yourself.
Don't put pressure. And it goes the other way as well. I see quite a lot of people say this kind of like sentence, which is working hard in silence, or, you know, like just grinding under wraps. The you know, the show will present itself later down the line. Like that in itself as well as ego.
Yeah,
because if
totally
you're having to say working hard in silence, you're trying to get the kudos of other people to recognise how hard you're actually working.
Working hard in silence, telling people you're working hard in silence, you're not doing it in silence, you're telling everyone that you're working hard in silence.
Head down, the results will speak for themselves. You know, it's doing the counteracting thing. I think social media is a great platform to showcase your journey, to talk about what you're passionate about, especially like bodybuilding. But just like we've said through these videos, and we're consistent with this, put stuff up that's real for you. You're not trying to get other people to recognize what you're doing, or to kind of almost like put yourself in this box where like you're creating a persona for other people to see, like whether that's I'm gonna be, this is my time, or I'm working hard in silence. Share content and share value with people that sits with you, that's for you.
You don't have to create
for other people.
You don't have to create a persona. You don't just be you. Just be you. Don't try and be some villain or something like that, or feel that you've got to act in a certain way, or if there's someone in your gym that's your rival. You don't have to be a dick to them just to try and give you the fuel and the fire to keep you going, because that could come back and bite you in the ass. Just be a sportsman.
Come back to the start of this whole thing, which is stay humble. Stay humble. People like to get to know people who are genuine and humble, that have their real best interests at heart. You know, that's where good connection, good communication, good sportsmanship comes from. And the more people like that in this industry, the more, you know, we're going to see the industry prosper. I think that's kind of where my mindset's at. We're hitting loads of different things here, aren't we?
Now, believing in yourself's important. You can believe in yourself. You can completely believe in yourself, and it's okay to think that you can go out there and do well and set yourself some goals. But again, it's being a sportsman. And you'll notice this when coaches and athletes talk about opposition that they're going to go up against, even when you've got the world number one who's going up against, say, the person that's ranked 50th in the tennis draw. They always go out and say it's going to be a difficult game, this person's going to bring something to the table, and it's going to be, I'm going to have to be on my top to beat this person. They don't say that they're going to smash them, because it's completely unsporting. And we see scenarios all the time in sport whereby the best person in the world Anthony Joshua, for example, gets beaten by someone out of nowhere that was an underdog. And that's an example of their ego letting themselves run away with themselves a little bit, not taking things seriously. So it's important to be mindful of this and to be graceful in defeat, but also graceful in victory, and respect your potential other people that you're going up against, because you don't want to necessarily fuel other people at the same sort of time, do you?
No, because I know that I've probably felt like this as well, and this is like just being totally real. But have you ever had the experience where somebody who has a gigantic ego, right?
Yeah.
Who's a complete dick, who is really obtuse with what they say, really over the top with their kind of putting other people around them down about how great they are, and then they fail. Yeah,
it's that Schadenfreude thing, yeah.
And you feel a sort of sick sense of satisfaction for the fact that this person's failed. But that's because the qualities that person is exuding is obnoxious. It's it's too much. It's like you love the fact that they maybe are extremely talented and have a lot of, they might be incredible at what they do, and you respect how good they are at what they do, but you hate the kind of
John McEnroe kind of was like
the shit persona attached to it, because you kind of think you could be better than that. When you see like a really, really great athlete, and you want them to be a role model, and sometimes they're not, or somebody at the top of their field might not be, and it's such a shame. It's such a shame, because you don't want people reveling in your misfortune. You certainly don't want to give across like that sort of feeling of people disliking you. Why? Like, be great at what you do and be humble with it.
Yeah, I think that's good. Be great at what you do and definitely be humble of it, and try and just be a sportsman. I always sort of say, I think that's what it is. So,
but there's like one sort of other side to this, and we were talking about it before when we were discussing this topic, and that is how the ego can be used in different ways, not just like in a negative sense. So ego is something that also exudes confidence. Like you can
absolutely.
So let's take somebody in business, for example, who might be walking into a room to deliver a presentation or to pitch a particular product or a service or a project or whatever else. There's an element of ego in that person's demeanor, because they have to do something to incentivize people to either buy from them or be passionate about a topic or whatever else. And this stretches across all areas of life, business, whether it's a competition, whether it's even just like, in like public speakers, everything else. That ego, the confident side of you, can bring you to life, therefore connect you with wider audiences, and you can use that ego to your advantage, because you then become
a performer,
or a spokesperson, or somebody with a message and impact. So you could take somebody like Nelson Mandela, for example, and he used a persona, an energy, an ego that he had so positively that he drew masses of people to connect with him and obviously change the world as it stands.
He was very aware of his ego, though, wasn't he?
This is the thing, though. Is those people are recognizing that they have a strength and confidence, an ego or a persona they can use for the greater good, or for the benefit of business, or for the benefit of the stage, and coming like you use all of us when we compete on stage. We use a persona to bring ourselves and our physiques to life, and you can see that in routines. You can see that in the kind of camaraderie on stage. You can see that in the just the general the general sort of
way someone exudes
whole
himself,
expression of a person on stage is using ego well.
It's amplified.
So there's two things there. Ego can be used really, really positively, but you need to be aware of it and harness it in the right way.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. One last thing I think we can maybe say here is
I'm super passionate about this.
As someone that's potentially struggling a little bit with having that stage persona and that stage sort of presence. I reminded of a story I've heard about Flex Wheeler before, who said that he was always a very shy person, and when he went on stage, he couldn't go out there and perform because he would be a shrinking violin. And I mean, that's not great when you're on stage and you're around so many big egos. So what he used to do is he adopted a persona of this character as a stage performer. And then when he went on stage, he was super confident. However, when he came off stage, he went back into that sort of shyer, retiring thing. Now, with my students, what I always sort of say to them in terms of when it comes to their public speaking, if they're not particularly confident, then there's this notion of faking it until you make it. So believe in yourself and go up there and give the best presentations that you potentially can. And if you don't believe in yourself, well, just fake it. And if you practice it enough over and over enough time, then sooner or later you're going to realise, oh, well, I'm doing this. I actually can kind of do this. And, and I think it's quite a nice sort of way to
and
do
actually, a lot of people that I've had in the posing studio, this is kind of tying in with that.
Sure.
I found quite a common thing amongst many of us bodybuilders is a lot of us are actually quite insular. And bodybuilding is a way of challenging themselves and growing in confidence and doing something out with their comfort zone. And I remember one particular guy actually that I had in my studio earlier last year. I won't name him, but he's fab, and he did really, really well. But he came into the studio and he was just a really quiet, timid person. And then when we started to work on his routine and his posing, he explained that to me, that he feels like he can become something else that he's not used to being, and this is fun for him, because he can jump up on stage and feel really confident in a way that he's never really felt before. And it was just a really, really great thing to see, like that this young kid who's got loads of potential was using the stage as a way of growing in his confidence and finding his own ego and his own energy. So that was quite cool. So there's quite a lot of people in the bodybuilding community that I'm sure might resonate with that when they get on stage.
For sure, yeah. I think that's a great story.
Yeah, he was a great guy as well.
So if we wrap this up here, and we have a little summary of these things. So what we're saying is the video is stay humble. Yeah. Stay humble. Don't put pressure on yourself by adopting some sort of persona as the villain. And equally at the same sort of time, don't put pressure on yourself by declaring that you're going to win the competition at the same sort of time and disrespecting your fellow peers and bodybuilders. Because it doesn't go down particularly well with them. They don't warm to you particularly well if you're doing this sort of thing.
Oh, and a note on this as well, just on this point before we summarise the other points. Don't use your ego or what you think of yourself to belittle other people around you, because that's just really, really wrong. And most people know when they're doing it as well, which is what's interesting to me. Nobody is better than another person. We're all the same. We just all come from different places and different experiences. So
I guess that comes down to being a sportsman, doesn't it?
It does. But like
another about life, just being a decent
I'm
person.
sure we've all been in a situation where you might be in a conversation with somebody who's maybe more experienced than you in a certain thing, or has been around for a bit longer, or something like that, and you maybe look up to them, or you're in awe of them, or you're inspired by them, or whatever. And you might have been met by that person actually not being what you thought they might be. You might be sort of expecting kind of a level of, I don't know, just openness or genuinity that you might not receive back. And instead you might get a sense of ego, like they're putting you down, or that, for example, you might not deserve their time. Do you know what I mean? Do you know that kind of thing? Yeah. I'm sure like everyone's been in that situation where maybe somebody's made you feel like they're not really bothered, or they don't really like have a lot of time for you, or they'll go out their way to say something that might undermine you or make you feel rubbish. That's when people use ego in the wrong way, or use like what maybe they perceive of themselves in the wrong way, and that can be really damaging to somebody, especially somebody who might look up to somebody else or whatever else. So when we're talking about just like don't use your ego for the wrong reasons, I think it's super important not to use your ego to put another person down.
Yeah, I think you made a great post on this the other day there, and it was the way you make other people feel I think it was.
Says a lot
about you. And that's, I mean, if you use your ego in a positive way, then you can really build people up and you can make a positive impact in people's life, and people remember you. They'll go, oh, that's such and such, they're a decent person, they're a good athlete, and everything like that. And if you use it in the wrong way, then it's like having a bad customer experience. You tell 10 people about it.
You remember how shit it felt.
Yeah,
or
and
whatever else
and you don't want to, and if you want to be in the sport for a long time or just in general life, then you don't want to have one of those sort of reputations. So it's very important to be.
But it is such a good phrase. Like, how you make other people feel says a lot about you. Consider how you make other people feel. Think about the type of person and the type of think about the way you want to carry yourself in amongst your peers, people, life, business, relationships. Because it's really important.
Yeah,
really important.
Be aware of yourself. I mean, I know this sport has got a lot of egos in it, so just be aware of yourself and think how you're maybe being perceived by other people when you compete and things like that at contests. So I think we'll wrap it up there at that, as we said. So it's just be humble, be aware of yourself, build people up rather than put people down.
Yeah.
Don't put pressure on yourself. Remember, we're all in this together. We're all having fun together, doing this sort of things, and just enjoy it with
work
other people.
Hard, enjoy it. Share the stuff that you're passionate about, and just this is something we're both quite passionate about. Short and sweet, humble.
Humble, yeah. Stay humble.
Humble pie.
Okay.
I'd like some pie right now.
I'd love some pie. Okay, this is ProPrep signing out. Check out our website, www.proprepcoaching.com. Check out all our services that we offer on there. Also check out the rest of our videos on ProPrep Coaching on YouTube by Steph Noble and Dr. Andrew Chappelle. We've also got some articles on the ProPrep Coaching website, so there's a whole host on there. You can have a little read of them. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, as well as our own accounts, Fueled by Scott's Oats and Steph Noble Figure Pro. Okay, thanks very much, folks.
Thanks, guys.
Peace
Have
out.
a great evening.